This is just a real quick reminder video that I don't care if it's the left boot of tyranny or the right boot of tyranny. Democrat tyranny is still tyranny. Republican tyranny is still tyranny. Conservative, liberal, if it's tyranny, it's tyranny. Let me just remind you real quick of a supposed supreme law of the land. I don't even know why we have it, because it seems like public officials who swear to uphold it go out of their way to make sure they trash it. The First Amendment clearly says Congress, that's the supreme legislative body of the land. So even Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, ... In other words, if the supreme legislative body of the land cannot make a law that prohibits freedom of speech, who the hell do you think you are taking an oath to protect and uphold that law? Who do you think you are demolishing that law? And I don't care what your reasons are. You know, the safety of the people, the security of the people, the proper behavior of the American people can never be allowed to be the alibi of tyrants, but it often is. So now we got this new concept in the last couple of years called hate speech, and we're going to combat hate speech by infringing on the First Amendment right to freedom of speech. This is South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. She puts the no in no freedom. And recently, she just signed a historic anti-Semitism bill. By the way, if you'll notice in the South Dakota rotunda, we not only have the American flag, but what's that flag? Tucked right in between the South Dakota flag and the American flag? What is that right there? Taking the spotlight front and center? Oh, well then that explains this tyrannical language right here.
I know in South Dakota you've got a bill, I think it's a new bill combating anti-Semitism or reaffirming old bills. Could you just tell us a little bit about that, because it's such an important issue?
Well, this is a bill that defines what anti-Semitism is, and it has examples that we put in statute that will be used as model legislation in every other state to make sure we're defining what a hate crime is.
Okay, let's take a look at the actual bill. This is it right here. This is the bill. This is House Bill 1076, and it says, in reviewing, investigating, or deciding whether an alleged violation of this chapter is anti-you-know-what, the Division of Human Rights must consider the definition of you-know-what. For the purposes of this chapter, the term you-know-what has the same meaning as the working definition of you-know-what adopted by the International H. Remembrance Alliance on May 26, 2016. So who holds the cards? Who has the power? Maybe it's the people who represent the flag that is front and center there. That's what they're saying. They're saying, okay, if you're in violation of the definition of this word right here, refer to the definition of this word laid down by this organization back in 2016. It's like the cops saying, no, it's obstruction because we say it is. You're disturbing the peace because we say you are. You broke the law because we say you did. Which means if you offer any word of criticism against the people who might represent this flag right here, well, guess what? You're a violator of hate speech, and you, according to a governor of the United States, not a governor of North Korea, not a governor of communist China, but a governor of the United States is saying that you will be prosecuted, you will be penalized, you can go to jail if you use the wrong word, or if you say something against these people that we don't like. We know, we don't have to guess what Kristi Noem thinks about this. I'm just going to show you. This is Ensuring the Security of God's Chosen People, written by Kristi Noem on March 8th, 2024. Look at this first sentence right here. When I was growing up, my dad would always gather our family together and we would pray for you know who that you can't talk about. Because if you talk about them in a derogatory fashion, well, you might go to jail.
But I thought it was freedom.
No, you don't have the freedom to use that kind of speech for these people. It was instilled in me from a very young age that the you-know-whos were God's chosen people. You're not. They are. So you don't talk derogatorily about them. And if you do, it's slammer time.
Can't touch this.
That, you know what, was the Holy Land, and that we should always pray for them. Well, Christie went beyond praying for them into making a law where if you talk about them in a negative fashion, any kind of negative connotation, I mean, when I say negative, I mean it could be a truthful critique that they will construe as hate speech, and they would construe that as not an abridgment of freedom of speech, but you used hate speech. Hey, newsflash for you. Freedom of speech, whether you like it or not, covers all speech, but not for Kristi Noem and not for a lot of governors. Like DeSantis doesn't like that. He doesn't like you talking about, you're going to talk about God's chosen people and you're going to deny the H cost. How dare you? Guys, that's freedom of speech. That's the speech the First Amendment says shall not be abridged even by Congress.
And that we can prosecute those who engage in it. It really is the strongest.
Did you hear that? We can prosecute those who engage in speech that we don't like, that we find distasteful, that we find offensive, that we're going to label hate speech. We're going to prosecute for that.
And that we can prosecute those who engage in it.
Language in this country to push back on some of what we've seen for hatred being spread across this country since the October 7th attacks. So I was devastated to see some folks in this country be uneducated and some maybe purposefully stand with pro-Hamas and attack our allies Israel and our brothers and sisters in the Jewish community. So,
and there's the false dichotomy. It's a false choice. It's like you're either with us or you're with the terrorists.
Either you're with us or you are with the terrorists. Either you're with us, either you love freedom and with nations which embrace freedom, or you're with the enemy. There's no in between. You're either with us or you're with the enemy. That's clear. I will continue to make that clear.
Well, what if I consider you guys as the terrorists and I'm against the people you call terrorists? What if I'm against Hamas, but I'm also against the genocide being inflicted on Gaza by... What if I'm against that? Can I not speak out against... No. If you speak out against that right there, then you're a propagator of hate speech. And you will be penalized and you will be prosecuted, says Kristi Noem.
So this bill we signed into law today in the rotunda of our Capitol. We had hundreds and hundreds of people there. It was amazing to see the unity and the support. We have one of the smallest Jewish communities in the entire country, but we dearly love them and stand with our allies and are proud to sign this bill that I believe many, many, many other states are going to use because it gives them strong language that we can win in court and prosecute those who engage in hate crimes.
Congratulations on that.
It gives them strong language that supersedes the First Amendment, where you're not supposed to make any law, any edict, any House bill, any government executive order. And I'm not saying this is because this is a House bill that they're going to turn into a law. No law is supposed to supersede the supreme law of the land of the First Amendment. Congress shall not abridge it, but hold my beer. Watch me go, says Kristi Noem and Ron DeSantis, and whoever signs on to any kind of bill right here that would restrict any speech. Freedom of speech, as defined in the First Amendment, it covers all speech. The speech that you might find distasteful and even hateful, that speech is covered. And you want people to speak like that because you want to find out if they're cruddy people or not. You cannot legislate morality, and that is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to control how people speak and what people say and what they object to, and they're trying to throw down with a law any kind of criticism against people who may or may not be controlling the show. Can you see this right here? Look at that. Who's controlling the show here? I mean, you can call them Republicans. You can call them Democrats. You can call them whatever you want, but it sure does look like every one of them have been fitted with the boots of tyranny, and they will do whatever they can, whatever they have to do to serve their masters and create laws that will seek to prosecute you if you speak out against them. You want to really find out who's in control? You want to find out who rules you? Then you need to find out who you're not allowed to criticize. And if you do criticize them, find out who their puppets want to prosecute. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, grab a hard-hitting conversation starting design from the store. You can put it on a shirt, hoodie, mug, hat, cell phone case, pillowcase, whatever you want. Become a channel member, but more importantly, know what your rights are, stand for your rights, and fight for your rights. If you lose your rights, you lose your life. And I tell you right now, there are plenty of tyrants out there who are more than willing to take your rights away. Don't give them up. I'll see you in the next video.